Hey, GEPF member, have you ever wondered if it's really possible to save on tax when resigning? Or if growing your capital afterwards is just a financial fantasy? Now, you're not alone. Many GEPF members share these doubts, feeling that such outcomes are almost too good to be true. It's understandable with all the rumors and hearsay, it's challenging to separate fact from fiction, leaving many members questioning the real possibility that resignation holds. Hi, I'm Devon Iker, a retire vs. resign specialist at Retirement Wellness SA, and I've spent years diving into the intricacies of GEPF, specifically how members can strategically resign without leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, today I'm pulling back the curtain to share 3 secrets that will open your eyes to the true potential of your resignation options. And these aren't just theories, they're practical insights that have already transformed the financial futures of GEPF members. And you'll see a lot of this in my YouTube channel as well. Now, if you stick around to the end, I'll even unveil a bonus secret that could significantly change how you view resignation. I must pre-frame this. This is not saying that you are making the call to resign. In fact, this is still at a point where you want to do the homework, which is the first secret that I want to share with you shortly. Now, this information you will not find in any official GEPF pamphlet or forum. So are you ready to challenge what you think or know about the possibilities of resignation? Let's embark on this eye-opening journey together. Now, the first secret that I want to share with you is very simple, and it's this. You have to keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind. And I see this as being the hardest hurdle for GEPF members to overcome, because a lot has happened in the past. You might have known of members who have resigned and had negative experiences, lost a significant amount of money in tax, lost a significant amount of money in investing. And the fear might be there that what if the same situation happens to take place with you? Now, at this point in time, remember the focus initially, which is what I recommend for all GEPF members, you still want to get to a point where you are comparing both options. So we're not taking away resignation or retirement from the table. You still want to move back to see, hey, what's really the differences between the two? But why I'm sharing with you, you want to keep an open mind is just because something hasn't happened in the past doesn't mean that it's not possible. Let me explain. Just because some members who had opted to resign had lost money in tax, lost money when it came to investing, it doesn't mean that it would happen to every single member. Now, when you keep an open mind and you're running the comparison, you want to look to see what are the benefits in terms of tax between the two, what are the benefits in terms of investing, what are the benefits in terms of you controlling money, what are the benefits in terms of legacy, what are the benefits in terms of medical aid. So because it's not a decision that you can change later on, why not have a look at it from multiple avenues, looking at each element through a magnifying glass? This way, you know you've done your homework comprehensively, as opposed to just looking at this at a bird's eye level. Now, again, keep an open mind, because if you have a look back many years ago, many would have found it impossible to climb Mount Everest. But when the first men had done this, had achieved this feat, then it became easier. And now it's something that is available for most people to do, provided you have the drive and the determination. So what was initially something that was impossible, couldn't have been achieved, had become a reality. The same if you had to look at something like landing on the moon or even onto Mars, right? All of these things are possible. It's just that you got to keep an open mind to seeing how could this be possible. Naturally, again, you want to make sure that you get to see this in writing. This is how you can avoid things like scams and all of that. But once you get to see it in writing, you'll be able to see how this can work for you in the best way possible. So keep an open mind with retiring and resigning, which then leads me to the next secret that I want to share with you. Very difficult one, very difficult one. You want to make this all about you. You want to make this all about you, right? Not about GEPF, not about insurance companies, not about your colleagues, not about your friends or others who had been in GEPF. You want to focus on you, because your situation is unique. It's different to other members. See, so what might have worked for other members might not have worked, may not necessarily work for you. And again, what didn't work for them is something that could work for you. You want to keep an open mind, and you want to make sure that you are working with everything around you. So the approach that I want to recommend to you to do this is start to have a look at what's important for you. Now, maybe it's important for you to save on tax, right? You want to pay the least amount in tax. Maybe it's important for you to protect your capital. See? So you make a list of the things that's important for you. Maybe it's important for you that you leave a legacy. You want your kids to benefit. Maybe it's important for you to have medical aid. So you want to make a note of each of the elements, because when you start to focus on yourself, you're now doing something critical, which is you are pushing aside GEPF, you're pushing aside the insurance company, financial advisors. It's all about you. And it's the first step, I believe, to you taking control of this. Because you want to eventually come out with an outcome that works best for you, not something that's suited for GEPF or the insurance company. It's got to focus on you, because ultimately, you're going to be the one who's living with this decision for the rest of your life. When you are clear on things that are important for you, your next step, remember, keep an open mind, is running the comparison of retiring and resigning to see which of the two options can put you in a position to actually achieve the things that you have on your list. Now, let's assume one option can do 2 items and the other option can do all 4. Then the decision's easy, because you know the one that's fulfilling all 4 is the one that you're heading toward. And again, by keeping an open mind, it just allows you to be open to having a look at both options carefully, especially on the resignation side, because retirement is pretty much clear. You know what GEPF is providing. You know what the lump sum is, what the monthly income is. There are some fine print to it. On the resignation side, a lot of this hinges on the advice that you are getting. So again, this is another secret. When you make it all about you and you're sitting in front of a financial advisor or planner, or even if you're reaching out to me for assistance, because you are asking for something very specific, it means I cannot come through with anything pre-planned. I now have to make something or customize something that's specifically for you, which in my opinion is the beauty of resignation. It's why any member should be considering resigning, even yourself, because you want to create something that's just for you, not something that every other member has. Now, on that note, let's tackle the third secret. And the third secret is simple. It's how to save on tax. And I know that this is a critical area for you. It's a critical area for every single GEPF member who has engaged with me. Again, remember, you want to keep an open mind, because just because other members didn't pay or ended up paying a fortune in tax doesn't mean you have to. A lot of this hinges on the quality of advice that you get. And there is a difference in the financial services profession versus another profession. Let's just take the medical profession, right? You know, when you're sitting in front of a doctor, let's take a GP, every single GP has studied, they've qualified, they've earned that designation of being called a doctor. Whereas with financial planning, it's different. Inside of the financial services sector, you have people from varying backgrounds who can come into the profession. They might not necessarily stay inside of the profession. Some people have studied. Some people have enhanced the studies or attained CFP. It's the highest designation that you have inside of it. So you want to have a look at that first, as from the advisor perspective, how qualified that is, because the advice that you get, the quality of your experience, it can never be better than what the advisor's ability is. I'm going to say it again. The quality of your experience and the advice that you get, it can never be better than what the advisor's capabilities are. So if you're working with someone, let's take myself, I'm specializing only on GEPF. It means my knowledge, my expertise, it is at a higher level versus, let's say, a general financial planner or advisor. Now, again, this is not to say that you have to reach out to me, but I'm showing you the difference of the two. Likewise, when it comes to, let's say, a specialist, if you know you've got a heart condition, you want to reach out to a cardiologist as opposed to a GP, because a cardiologist is someone who is specializing in that particular sector. So you know the likelihood of success becomes greater there. How do you save on tax? It's very easy. Remember, resignation is very flexible. You can adjust the figures. So let's head over onto a tax guide. I'm going to give you a basic example here, very, very basic example, just so that you understand the framework of this. And obviously, when you're getting into private consultations, then this is where the real magic happens, because the figures can be calculated specifically to your needs. So I have here the 2023 tax guide. Now, remember, when you're doing tax calculations, you want to look at the latest tax guide. I'm doing the one that was the latest at the time of producing this particular video. And you can have a look at some of the figures, how SARS works. Now, here's an important secret. Remember, SARS is telling you at the start of each tax year how they're going to tax you. They tell you in advance, hey, listen, this is, if you are earning these incomes, this is how I'm going to tax you. The information is already provided upfront. There's no real guesswork that has to happen here, which means it shouldn't be a surprise for you that if you are earning a certain level, you're taxed in that level. And this again, where the beauty of resignation comes in, because if you are getting the right advice, it should be specific to your set of circumstances, which means the plan can be tailored to create tax saving for you. Let's use an example. Let's assume that your initial income fits into this band here. Now, you know that 512,000 is the limit, but what if you could structure your income in such a way that you come just below 512,000, right? So for example, if you could structure your income so that it comes to, call it 500,000. Now it means from a tax perspective, instead of being taxed at 36%, you tax at 31%, right? Again, you don't have to know all of this. You just need to know that the advisor or planner or specialist that you are engaging with knows and understands tax and can create the solutions for you. Let's have a look at something else. Further down here, I've shown this in other videos as well. This is the retirement fund lump sum tax table. So again, if you know your value is high, and understanding the tax system, SARS works according to a sliding scale. So the more you are taking out as a lump sum, the more you're going to pay in tax. Now, because resignation is very flexible, again, depending on your situation and the advice that you get, there are ways in which you can structure this where you can pay the least in tax. For example, you don't necessarily have to take above 1,155,000, where you are paying the highest rate of tax. What if you could adjust your plans in such a way that you could take a lower value and an even lower value and an even lower value? So in this case, tax can be zero. Now, keeping in mind, you want to look at the pros and cons, right? Meaning you want to look at, if you had to take this move, what's the ripple effect? If you went in this direction, what's the ripple effect? But again, not your line of work to focus on. This is where the advisor, in my opinion, has to earn the stripes. Otherwise, what's the point of paying a fee? You're paying a fee for that service, and it should be value that's demonstrated back to you. Now, I know you're still holding on, and if you are, this was the bonus secret that I want to share with you. So let me head back onto the iPad to give you some clarity on this one. And bonus secret here, by the way, if you found the video has been helpful, please give me a thumbs up so I know that the content is very good. And comment below, because I'm covering 4 secrets, which secret is the one that's most impactful for you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first one, just to recap, is actually a mindset shift. I haven't spoken about this in previous videos, but what I've observed is this is the one that limits most people, right? Because they're very close. Most members are very closed with their thinking. It's very difficult for them to believe in tax saving or investment or capital growth until they see this sort of happening with other members. Huh? Okay, so comment below and tell me which secret has been most helpful for you. Now, secret to growing capital. You might have seen some of the YouTube testimonials. If you haven't, you're welcome to viewing them, where I've been able to do this incredible feat for members, right? Grow the capital even though they're earning an income. Now, here's how I want to explain it to you, because the concept's very different. And notice it doesn't impact on markets. I'll say it again, it doesn't impact on markets. So have a look at what I'm doing here. Here's your pool of money. Now, again, there's different options for resigning in terms of earning an income, and I'm using the one where you can, I call it option 5, where you can invest money and you earn an income from that investment. So let's start to put the moving pieces here. This here is the 2/3 capital. Remember, 1/3 capital or less is paid to you. 2/3 what's invested, and it's designed to provide you with an income. So we'll plot down income on this end. What's happening in most cases, and this is a big mistake, right? In most cases, members are given advice to focus on the fund, right? Which is the place that brings in the return. So where's the best place to invest money? And I get this question all the time. But for me, I feel that is not the right place for you to start. It's not the right place for you to start because the markets can be volatile. It's something that you cannot predict. Now, there's certain secrets that I've learned to getting some type of market protection, which again, I'll go through in private consultation with you. But for now, you agree markets are volatile, which means you don't know if it's going to perform well or not. And because of that, I don't believe that this should be your starting point, especially when the focus is on growing capital. Let's look at the working elements that you would be aware of. You are in control of your income, meaning you wouldn't be able to know what your budget is and how much you want to draw off your capital. You are in control of the 2/3 element because you know exactly how much capital is going in. You could also adjust by taking a little less of the 1/3 amount, so your 2/3 becomes a higher value. You're also in control of this element down here, which is whatever the fees or the costs of the insurance company are. This should be demonstrated for you upfront, right? I believe in full transparency. I think that's the best way when it comes, especially with resigning. You want to know all the pieces and how they work. So you want to make sure that you understand what the costs of the insurance company are. Simple, because you don't want to be charged too much, right? You also want to get something that is of value. So you know you're paying a fee, but you want something that's of value. So notice what I've shown you now. 1, 2, 3 elements that are within your control, also within your control. And again, remember, it's coming back to the quality of advice. That income that you are earning is subject to tax. Now, what if you could get good quality advice that actually reduces the tax or removes the tax? Now, that is something that you can have control over because you haven't yet paid the taxes. I've shared with you secret number 3. SARS gives you the information up front. So provided you can put a plan in place to reduce the tax, this is where it can become a powerful advantage for you. So notice 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 4 elements that are within your control. And this is the one element that's not within your control. However, I have found ways in which you can get this to be structured well. Now, 5 working pieces, if you can get 4 out of the 5 working pieces growing well, chances are it's easy for your capital to grow then because you're focusing on 4 of the 5 ways in order to grow capital. Now, what if you could focus on 5 of the 5 ways? Now, again, in a private consultation, I'll go through the exact detail with you, give you complete clarity on how you can leverage this, how you can strategize. I'll provide access to an email address where you can reach out for a private consultation, and we'll also tell you the kind of profile of clients that we're working with. For now, comment below and let me know which of the 4 secrets have been most impactful for you, or if it's more than one, share with me secret number 1, secret number 2, 3, 4, more than one, pop below so that I get to see. And if you've not already done so, you're missing out on valuable information. So click subscribe to ensure that you're getting this information as soon as I produce it. I will see you in the next video.